Welcome to War Games. We will get you ready for your next sales opportunity. Are you looking to win the sales battle? You have joined the right team. Here on the War Games Group, we take the strategies and mindsets from the most successful salespeople and share it with you. With our help, you won't have to fail your way to the top. When it comes to crossing the minefield of sales, step in the footprints of those that crossed before you. Prepare yourself for boot camp and beyond. It's time for War Games to begin.
Shall we play a game?
Welcome, everybody, to War Games Wednesday. I want to say thanks for taking some time today. We are broadcasting on the Facebook page, several YouTube pages, as well as in the private group. So, and the reason I did this is because Yesenia wanted to be in the front row, evidently. So she threw up the front row sign to start with. But because I have a distinct pleasure today to bring on a friend of mine that I think will ultimately change the way you look at anything in your life, because he is absolutely phenomenal. He wasn't able to make it, so instead I brought Steve Sims in, and he's here to help us. So I want to say, Steve, welcome, and thank you so much. I'm going to say switch with me so you can come take the bigger one. There you go. That's better. So Natalie Esmond's here. Hey, party people. Somebody said you're a beast.
Is that my mum?
Yes, you can tell by the silhouette.
You can. She's always very shy.
Farha says hello. And so that's actually David Morrell. You were on the GPG. Yeah,
I remember
you did.
Dave. Yeah, I remember Dave.
Dave and I swap back and forth with the who needs to be on your show, needs to be on my show, needs to go back. So guys, I was lucky enough to run into Steve Sims with at the Next Level by Association dinner with Bob Donnell. So Bob Donnell put together dinner, brought in Steve. I was showing him a picture of it before we went live, and he's like, "No, you don't need to post that." So if you search on my Facebook, you'll find it.
Yeah, it'll be there.
Yeah, it'll be there. So Steve himself wrote a fantastic book. In Forbes, they say he is the Wizard of Oz, the real-time Wizard of Oz. Okay, what does that mean? If there's something that you want done, there's enough money to get it to happen, you need to find a person to make it happen. And that is Steve Sims. He is the person that is so well connected and so understands the need to put people together. I'd have to say your whole business was built off of relationships that, again, where most people say it's not really that big of a deal to have a relationship, right? But you are the one that's made a living off of having those relationships and becoming the guy, the man, the person that's there. So I want to say thank you, Steve, for jumping on, sharing with us today. Let's talk a little bit about you. Let's talk about sales. Let's talk about something that someone can do, because while he is the Wizard of Oz on making things happen, the man understands marketing like nobody's business, right? I read the book Bluefishing. For those of you that don't know, right, you need to go get his book, Bluefishing, and I'm going to pitch it because why? Because I like it. Don't get the audio. Steve reads it himself, okay? And you'll hear it more as you go through. There it is. But there it is on my audio that's there. But I love it because it's almost like he's sitting next to me in the car that's there. But Bob Donnell is here as well. Said there's greatness. He was referring to me, but Steve as well. So that's there, but perfect. So you're okay with questions being brought up as you go through and talk to us a little bit about what makes Steve special, but more importantly, what somebody can do to make themselves special and people can actually, buy from them. You're okay with that? I throw them up periodically.
I would rather speak to someone else than you. So yes, please.
Yes. That makes perfect sense. I don't blame you at all. And there, look, Netta joined, so you have something to talk to. So Netta, Steve says hi. He's so glad you're here to relieve me so that I don't have to be here.
So that you can what?
Yeah. So he said he'd much rather talk to somebody other than me. But
How you doing,
perfect.
Neda?
Hi. I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good and kind of regretting agreeing to this. So I hope it's going to get better as it goes on.
Me too.
It's not. It's not. It's not. So, but
Then it's job.
perfect. Yeah, we'll dance around it. So, Steve, let's talk a little bit about Steve Sims. Tell me what makes Steve Sims the man that we see before us today.
Clarity. I think today we're in a world where people are trying to confuse everyone. Don't know why. That doesn't help anyone. But the first thing they do is they get into a business and they try to, wear an expensive suit or, hawk every credit card to buy an expensive watch to try and show off. There's too much front going on in the planet today. And I think without realizing it, my triumph, my unicorn, my unique selling proposition was that this was as good as it got. I would turn up on a motorcycle, leather jacket, black t-shirt, helmet in hand and go, how can I help you? Or, hey, I've heard about you. We need to be doing this to make you more in sync. I was always there for the client. I was always there to deliver them an amazing experience. I was always there to coach them into greatness. I was there for them. So I was never there for me. So therefore, I never paid any attention to me. And while that was ignorant in the world of branding, I suddenly realized it was what was missing in the world of branding. And people today, they confuse each other too much. So what you've got in front of you is crystal clear clarity. We joke about it. And by the way, good shout out to Bob Donnell. He's a great guy. The bottom line of it is the 3 seconds that you've spoken to me is exactly the person you would meet if I was on stage at one of my events, if you saw me in a bar, because I've been known to go in those occasionally. That's me. So I think today I've got crystal clear clarity by not trying too hard.
Fantastic. So Dave Morrell said, in your opinion, now he hasn't gone to StreamYard.com/Facebook, so we can say it's him. So we'll just pretend it's somebody else with a good question. But he wants to know what's the difference between branding and selling, in your opinion.
Persuasion and credibility. Okay. Your brand is your credibility. See, understand one basic thing. I'm going to give you everything you need to know about branding in one simple statement that you can write on the back of a postage stamp. Branding is what people say about you when you've left the room. That's it. Okay. That is it. So when you brand correctly, you're exposing the solution that you provide and establishing credibility. People purchase from a brand because they can trust it. It's reliable. If you're being sold something, it's because of the flow, the funnel, the persuasion, all of those things. So I often say to people today, stop selling, start solving. Okay. So focus on your brand. Stop focusing on your salesmanship.
Okay. And so, again, a lot of times what I've found when it comes to selling with people is that you said, start solving. How do we ask the question of what is it I need to solve?
Oh, God. I know that was a low ball there. Thank you very much, Joe. But the problem is we don't. I'm being very accurate with you. Today, we're scared to ask a question. Okay. Someone will contact us and they will go, hey, I want to buy a red car. And straight away, they'll go, well, here's a red car, sir. How would you like to pay for it? And they think that's done. That's a transaction. I'm going to give you the most confrontational, argumentative word in the planet that more people need to be using today. And it's a 3-letter word, why? And no one uses it. You said, what questions should they be asking? The problem is people aren't asking any questions. They want a short track or fast track to running the credit card. If someone contacts me, we had someone contact me this morning, they wanted this and this, and I'm not pitching it, but they wanted this, this, and this. And if I'd have gone, yeah, great, his card would have ka-chinged for about $35,000. But instead of doing that, I said to him, oh, well, back up a second. Why did you contact me? Why is this a problem today? Why is now the time that we need to be focusing on that problem? Why is there the problem there in the first place? And I challenged everything that he had come at me about. And we haven't run his credit card. I don't have the deal. But I know for a fact that when he comes back, we will have a much more refined objective than the one he came at me today. Someone wants a red car. That's fantastic. Red's a beautiful color. But why is red so important to you? And I'll give you an example in a client of mine that I coach, and she's a realtor. She contacted me a while ago, maybe 6 months ago, freaking out. And she said, this girl came to me. She said, I wanted a 3-bedroom house on this street. I have shown her every 3-bedroom house on that street for sale. She doesn't want any of them. I've gone to the houses that are not even on the market and asked, would they consider a bid on their house? So she said, I've gone above and beyond on this street because that's what the lady asked for. And I said, well, then you're an idiot. I said, you shouldn't have fallen into a transaction. You should have delved into a conversation. What you've got to do is you've got to phone her up and you've got to go, hey, I did you a disservice. I apologize. I should have asked you, why that street? That's what you've got to do. You want to buy a 3-bedroom house in that street? Why? Why is this street so important to you? Why 3 bedrooms? Why now? The why now is, hey, cheap interest rates. Why 3 bedrooms? Because I got 2 kids and I'm thinking of having a third. Why this street? And the woman came back and she said that when I was growing up, we lived about 15 miles outside of town. Whenever my mum would take me to the mall, she would go out of her way to drive down this street because in this street, this was where all the successful people lived. So what had happened is this woman had grown up thinking that it street was this one. Now, let's be blunt. Areas change over years, don't they? The it street of like 20 years ago could now be a dump. So once she knew that she wasn't actually trying to move into that street, she was trying to achieve a zip code that her mum would have been in awe of. She could then redirect her to current it or upcoming streets. She purchased the first house the lady showed her on a different street. So she'd question the why. What you've got to do today is anyone that comes to you, dare to challenge why. Hey, Steve, I want you to coach me. Why? Hey, Steve, I want you to sell me hair products. Why? Converse with them and challenge them. Why? Every single time. And I'll tell you one final thing. I get a ton of people DM me and send me messages going, Steve, I know you're in LA. We should have a beer. Every single one of those people get the exact same response from me. Why? The amount of people that actually get shirty about it. They're like, oh, I heard you were cool. I didn't know that you were such an arrogant beep, and that's it. And then I'll get other people going, great question, Steve. You value your time. I wanted to discuss this, and this. Great. Now I'm informed and educated and can make a decision as to whether or not that's a meeting I want to be in. But you should always ask why every single, it's almost embarrassingly, you should be sponsored by the word why and ask it 1,000,001 times in a day.
So each person, do you find there's a different level of an answer the more times you ask the same person?
Oh, there always is. There always is. You see, today we're embarrassed. We just are. 2 things are built into people today. One, lack of tolerance. If I stand here and I go, hey, Black Lives Matter, Asian hate, Me Too, Trump, those 4 words are going to get people triggered. And there's going to be people in the audience going, oh, my God, I hope he's not going to have a conversation about those things.
Look, already okay? Jamie said, hey. Yeah, oh, wait, exactly. No, she said that earlier. Yeah. She was saying hi. Yeah.
So the bottom line of it is people don't want to have those conversations. Right. We should be, but they don't want to. So how do we avoid it? We run away. Everyone's running away from conversations today. So in which case, I got an echo going on here. So in which case, we need to be having conversations, but we're deciding not. So we are losing the ability to communicate. Think about it as well. Through COVID, we haven't socially interacted with people. It's like any muscle. When you stop using it for a while, it's going to ache. When we start going out and being social again, I'm guaranteeing you it's going to be awkward. You're awkward already. So, God, you're going to be nasty when you're out. But the point
Jamie
is,
said she's still Asian, too.
Oh, so, there you go. Hey, Jamie, how you doing? I'm sorry you're here, but stick with it, girl. So we have low tolerance at the moment because we are distracted, we are disgruntled, we've been held back, we've had COVID. There's a lot of reasons for us to be like that. We're also embarrassed about saying what is important to us, okay? Because you don't want someone to laugh at you. The funny thing is, today we're in a world where we want to avoid humiliation. Hey, I want that pink car. Oh, that's a silly. People laugh at you. We don't want to be laughed at. So when someone asks you something and you combat it with, why? They're going to give you the next chapter of the reason. Hey, I hear you. That's a great reason. But why now? You've got to keep chipping away. What you'll find is that there is a core to the question. And when you can get to that core, that's when the magic can happen.
You know, it takes me a while to write things down. So
yeah, I know. You're ordering a sandwich.
Core of the question. I just can't spell question. That's what slows me down. But look, we're going to add Des on, even though he's driving. So there's Desmond. So now we've got Jamie, we've got Desmond, we've got everybody. We're doing great. Look, David Morrell figured out how to get his name up there. So we're doing even better. But okay, so I'm digging deeper. I'm getting to the point of the actual core of the question. Des, you're killing me. I can't keep you on there like that. Jeez. Steve's gonna fall over with a seizure. But so I'm sitting down. Can you tell me how someone would make themselves stand out from everybody else that's out there? Because the world is full of Instagram models. I consider myself one of them, right? And so
sadly, you
what
do.
makes, yes, I do. You know, I send them to you all the time. Yeah. When you look at this, what is it that someone could do? Now, we talked about they got to be authentic to themselves, right? There's a difference between you branding yourself and actually persuading somebody. Branding is what they say about me behind my back, which everybody does. And so Brian came in to save me because we wanted to make sure we got the same look going on. So if Steve and I had a kid, it would be Brian. So
it would be Brian, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is. Now, you have made a life out of fun. Can I throw that out there? You are going to have fun. You are going to make sure other people around you have fun, right? We resonate in the fact that we both want to joke and have a good time. You run happy hours virtually as soon as the shutdown happened, right? Yeah. And so to me, I look at it. I mean, he just posted today in the group and he was like, who wants to do these again? And I'm like, oh, of course. A whole bunch of people sitting around drinking. I've got my iced tea, right? So does Steve. Yes, with his iced tea. But what is it that someone can do that can make themselves stand out in today's market of we're inundated?
And that's that. Stop it. That's the answer. You see, the daft thing is if you get a job in finance, you straight away buy a suit like everyone else, a red tie like everyone else, a briefcase and you end up looking like the herd. And then you sit there bitching, going, well, why don't I stand out? Because you've literally just stepped up to the stereotype of that. You go and get a job in Silicon Valley and you buy a hoodie and a pair of Vans. You know, everyone tries to conform to the stereotype. No one that did anything fantastical did it by following else. Mark Zuckerberg looked a bum from the start of his life and does now. And because you want to look like a media giant, you try to look like Mark Zuckerberg. You know, the bottom line of it is stop trying to be somebody else. You were born unique. You are unique. Anything you do is different. 4 people are on this Zoom. We couldn't be more different. You know, the second you try to be somebody else, you've sold yourself. So just show up as you unapologetically, and there will be people that hate you for it. There will be people that go, I don't like this person. Her freaking rah. I don't want to dilute myself to attract people that I'm not going to connect with. So the worst people in the world are not those people that don't want to do business with you. It's those people that are sitting on the fence, that can't make their mind up. And if you've got fence sitters, if you've got people sitting there going, I don't know if I like Bob, I don't know if I like Joe, I don't know if I like Steve, then that's your fault. You've got to be so accurately you that it makes that decision crystal clear to be made. You want no one to follow you that doesn't like you. You want no one to be on the fence. Stand up as you, your views, your opinions, your solution, your style, your habits, your crudity, whatever. Stand up and be you, and allow only those to resonate with you to actually work with you.
Bob's capturing.
Good old Bob. Thanks, Bob.
Yes.
Glad someone's paying attention.
No, it's true. Look, I mean, everybody's resonating with it. And I want to throw out too, right? David went and took it the wrong way with USPs, but that's David. So when you look at this, what happened? Steve came on and is authentically Steve. And now all of a sudden people are typing into the comments to say, oh, yes, that's amazing. That's right. That's it. Right. And so it's like, what is it really that far off? But I will tell you the same thing. Sometimes there's people like myself who said, I don't think everybody can handle me full strength. Right. And will it cost me too much business if I went full strength? What do you say to that? Shut up and do it. Don't be a wuss.
Yeah, that's bullshit. And you know it, even though you've asked the question, that's bullshit. You see, the downside is that when you try to get business from people that can't handle you, you dilute you, which means you're not showing up to your client as you. You're showing up as some kind of figment of who they want to see that they can do the business with. If you stop trying to be somebody else to capture people you shouldn't be working with, you'll have more ease and lack of effort to be able to attract those you can easily do business with. And, you know, me and you, joking aside, we get on because there's no effort for us to discuss anything with each other. We can take the piss, we can have a laugh, we can call it. There's no effort strained. But if I was concerned that if I was to do business with you or to be on this podcast with both of the people that have tuned in, you know, if I was worried about that and I was trying to change the person I was by maybe speaking a bit more eloquently or so, I'm now lying to me, which in turn is lying to you, which means that it is a nil starter. So the bottom line of it is there's billions of people in the planet, okay? I guarantee you 10% of the planet just freaking love you for being you. So don't spend any time and energy, and I have something called ROE. We all know what ROI is, return on investment. Return on effort and energy. How much effort and energy am I putting in to be able to make this relationship go? Have a conversation with this person. Stick with this person in the bar who's really boring. Okay? If I'm using too much effort and energy, kill it. Because it'll tire me out when I meet someone that I do want to hang out with. So, no, don't ever change yourself to suit the other person. Just go and find someone you do connect with.
Fantastic. So someone said you're awesome. Scott says he likes
true.
you.
Well done, Scott. Very accurate.
Right. James is one of those abrasive individuals like us. So of course he loves Joe, right?
Joe Polish.
Yeah, that's your Joe. Yeah. It is true. I do watch anytime he has Joe Polish on the show because every time he says Joe, I think it's me. And so, so SteveDSims.com, that's where you can go learn everything about this man. I will tell you, he is worth getting to know. He is one of those individuals that, again, unapologetic is a fantastic word to describe him. He came up from, you know, being the carrying bricks as a kid. Yes, I paid attention to the story. See? And so, and again, he's at the top of his form right now. And I want to tell you, so Jamie's throwing up another comment for you. So Jamie needs
there
to
you
get
go.
to know you.
There you go,
Yes.
Jamie. You can start DMing me and I'll ask you why.
It's exactly it. See, I teach that too. Always ask in public because they have to say yes more often than not. So, but again, when I look at this, I want to say, I do want to say thanks because I know your time is actually very, very valuable. You've got probably 5 Ducatis sitting around you right now in the garage, right? One of my favorite stories, if you'd be kind enough to tell this, is the backdrop story.
So I used
Since
to
we're
live,
going authentic,
I used to live in up in the hills of Laurel Canyon. And I moved out near Malibu, and the old house that I had these steel cabinets, which is a backdrop to me doing podcasts and videos, was absolutely perfect. Moved into this house, and for the first time, I actually bought a house. I actually became a homeowner.
nice.
So we're demolishing half of the house and we're building it through. And Joe's right. I'm actually shooting this from my garage, and I got 12 motorcycles in here with me, and just got the computer stuck on a bucket on the top of the motorcycle ramp. And I was driving down the road when we first moved in, and I don't know if it was an outhouse or a shed or something like that, but on the side of the road was all of this corrugated steel. And I said to my wife, I went, "That's it. It's bashed up. It's beaten up. It's rusty. That's me. That's my backdrop." And I said, "Let's shove it in the back of the Cadillac." And she's like, "No, we're going to the mall. We'll get it on the way back." So while we're at the mall, she says to me, "Oh, by the way, I've got the corrugated steel sorted out." I went, "Have you?" And she went, yeah. You'll be fine. Tomorrow you'll see it. And I thought she'd got the gardener to go and pick it up or something like that. So the following day turns up and she gives me this envelope about this big. And I'm like, "What the hell is this?" And she's like, "Open it up. If it doesn't work, it can go back." So I open it up, and are you ready for this? It's a shower curtain. She actually bought me a corrugated steel shower curtain, and it looks fantastic.
It does.
I know. That's all it is. So I literally just up the top of the there you go, right up the top. It's just nailed. It's just nailed to the top of the ceiling, and it's just a bloody shower curtain.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Bob Donnell says you'll never forget him. And I agree. I mean, we had dinner one night. I was like, yeah, I'm like, I tried, but no. But again, and thank you for sharing this part of it, because again, he says, be authentic, right? Be real, be himself. And this is classic Steve right here to say, here, I got my corrugated steel behind me and it's rusting. But at the same time, he'll show you that this is what it is. And so, again, I recommend, guys, go to stevedsims.com. Go check it out. He's got some great videos from his book launch, right? He's not going to sell nothing because I'm in love with him, right? That's just how it is. And so I want you guys to go get Bluefishing. I want you to understand the power of the password. I want you guys to understand everything that Steve goes and teaches to you, because it makes a difference. And it's something you guys can do when you look at it, that it's all about making yourself unique, and you're already unique. So why revamp it? And so I love it, because I come to Steve because I'm like, wow, if he can be this successful as him, imagine what I could do. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I'm way more warped than he is. So this could definitely this could go big time. That's here. But if anybody has any questions, please ask Brian if you have a question. Brian, if you want to read Steve's face real quick and just amaze him, because that's just who he is. So Justin Benton says he loves you too. Right? Thoughts on Pappy Van Winkle?
I like the Japanese stuff. I like Hibiki and Yamazaki. I love bourbon, and the Bullet and that kind of stuff's my favorite. Pappy's good, but a load of shitheads that don't know anything about whiskey started ramping the price up, and I gave up then.
That makes perfect sense. So, but fantastic. Brian, did you say you had something? You jumped into a different room. I got scared.
Oh, no, I couldn't see his face, so I had to enlarge the screen so I could see it. But, yeah, if you guys are game, it's totally fine. So, Steve, the same thing about you.
I don't know if we've told anything about Brian, but Brian does facial analysis, and he tells you about yourself just by looking at your facial features. So it helps you before you go in to go meet with somebody, right? It's a definite tactic to walk in and help you to relate to somebody else. But go ahead and tell them about him.
Yeah. Well, so when you first look at Steve, right, what you notice is the eyebrows are super close to the eyes. So Steve understands things like that, right? So his big frustration with people is why don't they understand it as fast as I do, right? Then his other part is see how he has high ears and low eyebrows. So that makes him even twice as dangerous. So that's when somebody who's auditory, they understand things very fast, and then visual comes second, right? So with Steve, I would give him a call. I wouldn't send him a text or an email. I'd definitely call him, right? Because he's going to listen to you, and that's the ears. Ears are like air drag. So the farther out from your head that they stick is the more independent you are. So you'll listen to how other people do things, and then you're going to do it your own way anyway, right? Like, I don't want to be a conformist. I don't want to do it the way everybody else does. And, you've got this little line across here, which is a burnout line, which means you basically made it to where you were at the edge of a cliff on something, and you're like, oh, God, this is really, really tough. Like, we're talking life decision stuff, and you survive through it, and because you're always smiling in all your videos and everything. High and wide cheeks here, so lots of energy. It's going to be outlasting most people, right? A lot of people give up easily, but Steve will keep going and going and going. And the lines across the forehead here, those are the Einstein lines. Look how many he has. So when he dives into something,
he's got more than me. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Very surface level with everything. And of course, straight eyebrows to get straight to the point. Don't waste his time. Right. So
fantastic.
Right.
I love that guy.
Yeah. So the one thing I will tell you, Steve, if you trim up this part here so we can see your upper lip, that makes you come across more friendly with people. Now, if you want to still look mean and scary with the beard part, but when people can see your upper lip, it makes you more approachable with other people as well.
All right, Brian, do you think that was my concern coming on this video?
Not at all. Because you don't care.
Right? He doesn't. He doesn't. He was like, he goes, oh, I got this. If it's Joe's audience, it's going to be a very low bar to come into.
And he has an amazing haircut, so that's the other part.
Of course.
Right. Justin has it right. See, only room for one genius in the group. So, but no. So I want to say thank you, Steve. I appreciate you immensely. And again, you bring value just by showing up. And the fact that you spoke made it better. It was harder to understand, but it actually made it better.
I appreciate you being here. I'm a great believer, just to finish off, I'm a great believer that for you to get where you need to be, you need to get in the right room, because every single one of us feels or has felt that we didn't fit in until we got into a room like this and discovered we were never constructed to. So congratulations for having these kind of safe places where people can grow, can challenge themselves, and have the right support system around them.
Thank you very much. Justin's going to throw it out there on the way out. Great book, Bluefishing, right? We do love the book. It is a great book for anybody who has not read it. Shame on you. Go in there and go learn about yourself and what's there. Proximity is power. I thank you again. And I want to tell everybody, thanks for spending your time on War Games. And as always, go out and sell something. Thank you, Steve.
Bye.
Thanks, Steve.
Bye.